Welcome back to the shop. It's good to see you again. In this episode, I'll get my old lathe back on its plinth in its new home. So roll the tiles, see you on the other side. So after several hours of scrubbing, I've cleaned the old girl and she's now ready to go back on her stand. So here are the freshly painted pieces. There's the chip tray. These are the two pedestals, and over there is the splash guard. And hiding behind are the two doors for the pedestals. Also, just as an update, that magnet strip cutter from the last video, I'm not going to destroy it. It's a piece of history for me, so I think I'm going to put it in a cupboard somewhere and forget about it. I've collected a few of the tools together that I think I'm going to need to get the old girl back on her stand. I'm going to try a couple of methods to check that I've got all the twist out of the bed. So I've got my most accurate dial test indicator and my 50mm micrometer. That's seen better days, a bit like myself really. Some small 1, 2, 3 blocks and some slip gauges. Also our V block set. I'll come to that in a moment, but this is the crux to it. I bought this and quite a lot of these measuring tools from an auction, and this is a precision level, last calibrated in 1999, so that's still good for me. Anyway, it's a bit filthy, it needs a bit of a clean, but according to the this is Moore and Wright, according to the Moore and Wright website, one division on here equates to 0.3 millimeters a meter away, so it's pretty accurate. So I thought, just for fun, I'd see if I could measure that. And this is how I think I intend to do that. This laser pointer, it's not got a particularly good focus, but there we go. You can focus it down to a little bit of a dot. But if I mount that on one of my V blocks, like so. Next, I'll have to put the... There we are, like so. Then I can project, put this on my surface plate. If I move the surface plate enough to just change this by one division, we should be able to make a mark and then make a second mark on the some distance away, and then measure the difference, and that will give us the accuracy of this thing. If we know the distance from here, from the laser pointer to the measuring surface, we can work it out. So these are the other bits we need. A reasonable measure, and oh blimey, that's a bit grim. I've not been in here in a couple of years. I think I better give that a clean. Anyway, that's my surface plate. I've also got all of the bits I need to mount the lathe to the floor. So starting at the floor level, M12 studs that you chemically fix into the floor. 2 sets of those because I need 10, sorry, I need 8, and they come in packs of 5, so I'm going to have a couple of spares. On top of those are going to go square washers. These are 3 or 4 millimetre thick, so they're more than capable of supporting the load. This is the stuff I use to chemically fix the anchors to the floor. I've used this before. This whole workshop is held down with it, and I have to say I was somewhat impressed at just how it only takes half an hour or so, and there's no way on God's earth you'll ever get it out again. Anyway, there we go. That's that. The lathe is going to be fixed down to its pedestals, or with in the past, last time I used nuts and bolts like this. However, this time I'm going to use these coach bolts. What I will do though is just turn off the, put them in the lathe and just turn off the square section. And the reason being, I'll show you, I'll give you a close-up of what I intend to do. It means that it's easier to clean the chips away. So I'll show you that in a moment. So that secures it to the chip tray and the pedestals. And the other thing that I am going to do, I could probably demonstrate here, is the chemical anchors are going to come out of the floor. Then we'll have a nut, then a washer, then another nut, and the pedestal is going to be trapped between the two, so it will be clear. If this is floor level, it will be clear of the floor. That means that I can use the bottom nut to move it up and down, so I should be able to get both of the cabinets coplanar and flat. So also that'll help me tremendously taking the any twist out of the bed. When I first installed it 20 years ago, it had a twist in the bed, and it took quite a while to get it out by using shims under one of the, as you saw when I took it to pieces, I think, shims under one of the pedestals. Yeah, this was actually one of the first pieces of metrology pieces I ever bought. I've got to have had this the thickest end of 30 years, and when I bought it you could see that it had lovely flaking in it. Apologies for the jet. Now over the years I have totally and utterly mullered it. It can't be flat anymore, but it's all of the flaking is, if you get the light right, you can just about see where it was hand scraped. It's a good candidate for being redone, to be honest. If I had a reference surface, that would be a good thing to have a go at. Right, so here we are at the tailstock foot for the lathe, and you have to excuse the wobbly pictures. I haven't got a tripod that goes as low as this, so it's a bit handheld. So last time I was bolted down like so with bolts. And as you can see, it's very easy to get swarf and stuff stuck behind the head of the bolt. So this time I'm going to go like so. Obviously that will fit flush, but as you can see that's much easier to keep it clean. So we'll see how we get on with that. There we go, a little bit of my engine degreaser. Right, I am going to go and have a cup of tea while that soaks in degreaser. Right, so here's my setup. I'm got the surface plate on top of my laser cutter, and if I just tilt down, you can't see it particularly well, but this laser cutter has got solid feet, so it won't rock around too much while we make these measurements. Here we are in a bit more detail. Power supply over the back. The little laser pointer is attached to a V-block sitting on the surface plate. The precision level is also on the surface plate. I haven't checked it to see whether it's actually in cal or not still, because I don't need to for this experiment. This surface plate's a tripod because it's got 2 feet at the back and 1 at the front. So I've got a couple of feeler gauges under the front, which has zeroed out the precision level. So that says that this surface is flat in this direction. So I've also got my Sigmund tape measure to measure the distance from here to the laser pointer. And over on the door, right in the middle of the shot, is a piece of tape, and on that piece of tape is a red dot. So if I just interrupt it with my hand, you'll be able to see exactly where that is. Now I will use my Sigmund. There you go, you can see the extra dot hopefully has popped up. Take a measurement, 6.51 meters. So let's make a mark in the middle of that laser pointer beam. Hopefully if I hold this torch you should be able to see the vial. Now I'm going to move, I'm using weights to affect this, so let me move my vise, which is quite heavy, closer. There's that. We've only gone about half a division, so let me get some more weight. There we go. Add the lathe top slide. I reckon that's moved about a division. I reckon, as we say here in Norfolk, that's moved two millimeters, give or take. So as we measured it, this 1 division movement of the bubble on here equates to 2 millimeters over at a 6.51 meter throw. So I've done the calculation, and that ends up with an accuracy of 0.307 millimeters per meter, which is bang on where it should be. It should be at 0.3. So there we go. That's pretty accurate, I have to say, and it will drive me mad trying to get that lathe flat. So let the game commence, I think. Just as an aside, I thought I'd work this out. So if you were to project that laser beam 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles, the 1 division deviation on that, there it is, on the precision level would equate to 3 meters deviation over 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles. That's 9.8 feet of change over 6.2 miles or 10 kilometers. That's bloody phenomenal, really, isn't it? From a bubble in a piece of glass. Incredible. I thought just for fun, I'd have a look at how strong my bench was. So the surface plate is in the centre of the largest opening. So this is the most unsupported section of this bench that I've got. And I'll give you a close-up while I do this, but the bubble is centred. So if I sit on this bench, we should see just how much deviation there is with my weight, which is, I think I'm probably about 13 stone at the moment. Don't know what that is in kilos, but I'll find out. So there's a close-up, and if I get on the bench, oh, you'll see how far it moves. Not much, to be perfectly honest. Not much at all. So all in all, this is an astonishingly strong bench. I'm flabbergasted. Right, let me get that calibrated. What I think I'll do is just put these little 1, 2, 3 mini 1, 2, 3 blocks in place. Draw a line there. Draw a line there. The bubble is centered at this point. Turn the gauge round, the level round I should say. Line it back up. And we're out of cal. So I better find out how I can do that. I've going to use my digital level there to get us about level, and I've popped out and got some more feeler gauges so that I can get it level in this direction as well. So after 20 minutes of adjusting, turning around, you slowly creep up to the point where it matches in both orientations. So we're 1 unit out that way. So this end is high by 0.3 of a millimetre. So only at a metre. So goodness knows what that is there. Not a lot. So let's turn around. Hope I don't get anything trapped underneath it while I do that. There we go. That's settled in exactly the same position. Job done, calibrated. What I'm trying to do is work out how far forward to put her. As you can see, can't quite get the electrical cabinet open, so it's got to go a bit further forward. And on around the other side, getting the position this way is also quite critical. So critical, doesn't matter, but I like it to look neat, so I need to get that sorted. But next up is to put the splash guard on so I can then work out exactly where it's all going to fit. Yeah, I've got a suitable drill. Goodness me. Oh.
It is in all the holes. Yeah, put it in. Yeah, you in. Oh. It helped guiding it with the bar. That really helped using that bar to push it in because they're loose.
Right, just release the tension slightly on the... Turned it on. It should come on now. There we go. Right, let's try her out. That's a good sign. After a lot of fiddling around with the bolts going into the floor, I've got this far. Let me just refocus. There we go. At this end of the bed we are flat, and if I crank that up to the other end of the bed, we are slightly out. Now if you jack up this end so that it reads the same, we are 0.1 of a millimetre. So that's taken most of the twist out of the bed. I don't think I can go any more than that because, let me just zoom out. If I start putting some really serious force on these jacking bolts on that hold this machine to the ground, I'm going to break the concrete out. So I'm a bit limited to exactly how much effort I can put in. So I'm going to buy that for now, and I'm just going to rig up a test piece. I've got MT5 to MT3 reducer sleeve. Is that right? No, I don't want that. I want this. This is MT5 on the outside and R8 on the inside, and that fits this this adapter that I made several years ago. This is a bought R8 19mm collet, sorry, and that goes clean through the headstock. And this is precision 19mm bar. So yeah, we'll put that in and see if we can measure how much deflection we get. So here's the state of play. Putting that 0.4 mil shim under the back of the back foot, that allowed me to, it held the foot above the pedestal it's bound on, so I could then jack it down with a screw on this side. So consequently, I've taken the remainder of the twist out of the bed. So if I'll give you a close-up of this, but we vary across the whole active width of the bed, which is always a little bit shorter than the whole thing, by about half a division. That equates to 0.15 of a millimetre 1 metre away. So so that's pretty accurate. It's not absolutely flat. I had to put a bit of shim, feeler gauge shim stock under this end, which is 50 microns. So it's pretty close to being absolutely flat. So let me show you the close-ups. Headstock end. Right, that's roughly the middle of the bed. And tailstock end. Right, I'm not sure if you can see this particularly well, but here we go. I'm just going to lean on the machine with a Mark 1 hand. I'm putting, I don't know, about 5 kilos of force on it. Just shows you how sensitive these vials are. This lathe always turned tapers, and I didn't have, when I bought it, I've had this. In fact, I can show you. Hang on a second. When I bought this lathe, it was supplied with the wrong dials on here and here. So I got in touch with the supplier, and they sent me 2 new dials, and I swapped them over. These are the old ones. I kept them for posterity. And the dispatch note that came with it said that these replacement dials were supplied on the 18th of January in the year 2000. So I've had her for 25 years at least. So when I first bought it, I didn't have the equipment to check exactly how aligned it was, and I did work out quite quickly that it was turning tapers, but just learned to live with it. So we're going to have another go. My first attempt at doing the traditional method was pretty poor because I got terrible surface finish on this piece of alley bar at this end. So I'm going to use have a go in a different way and use this 19mm precision ground bar. So I'll put that in the 4-jaw, get it so it's running concentrically, and then measure the deflection from that. So let me get on with that. Right, I'll put 2 gauges on it. This bar is as aligned as I can get it. I've marked the high spot at both ends with a little red dot, and so I've got minimum deflection wobble, if you like, on the bar. This is a 20 micron per division gauge, DTI. This is an imperial one, just to see whether or not the head is twisted, or not flat compared with the bed. So let's move along and see what we get. Okay, let me do the maths. Anyway, that's pretty much flat this way, so that's good, but it is canted over at an angle. I reckon over that length, that is 0.17 millimeters. What I'm doing here is taking a series of measurements, rotating the chuck for 15 degrees, take a measurement of the deflection of the bar, rotate another 15 degrees, another 45 degrees, and carry on round. That gave me a list of results for how much deflection there is in the 19mm bar. And if you take the maximum and minimum, and so take the maximum reading and subtract the minimum, you get 0.0074 of a millimetre. So I thought, just for interest's sake, I will have another go at doing the traditional test bar. So I've got a much stiffer bar in here. My aluminium bar was just not stiff enough to do the job. So I've relieved the centre section and then taken a very light cut at either end and measured the difference. And the difference is 0.15 of a millimetre. That is over 200 millimetres. So this lathe looks that pretty much corresponds with my theoretical deflection, if you like, or not, or out of square. When I measure it, I get 0.074. Because we're dealing with a radius, we double it for the diameter. That comes out at 0.148. And when I've done that, when I've repeated that experiment and done it as a cut, I get 0.15. So the two pretty much correspond. So it looks like I need to cant the head over very, very slightly to get it to turn absolute precision, or as precision as you can get with this sort of lathe, to get it to not turn tapers. So with that end in mind, I have just ordered a test bar. So that should be here in the next couple of days. I'm not sure if it'll make it for this video, but it'll certainly be here in the next couple of days. And that will fit straight into the headstock with an adapter. Here we go. This is an MT3 to MT5 adapter. The headstock's MT5, so the test bar will fit straight in here. And hopefully, if this is accurate and the headstock spindle is accurate, then we shouldn't have any significant run out. Then I can make some much more accurate measurements. So I'm stuck until that arrives. So in the meantime, there's not much I can get on with, to be honest. Well, if you made it this far, you've probably realised the test bar didn't turn up in time. I'm still waiting for it. So I think generally I've done a reasonable job with the old girl. She's back on her plinth. The plinth has been nicely cleaned and painted. There's a tiny bit of vibration when you run it, but I think that's because in its old home it was bolted to the wall as well, and I think I must put something at the back here, but we'll see about that in the future. Anyway, more importantly, the twist out of the bed has gone. In the active section of the bed, i.e. from there to there, it's absolutely flat, no twist whatsoever. This end has got a slight twist in it, and there's a slight twist at this end. But that will only come into play if you're using really short collets in the headstock here. So I'm not overly bothered about it. However, the headstock does need to be aligned with the bed. It is still out. Exactly how much I'll know when I get my test bar. So we'll do that on the first part of the next video. It's easy to change. It's just a few screws to loosen, and then you can move it around a little bit. So shouldn't be a problem. It always did turn tapers, but I didn't have the test bar, or indeed the money to buy a test bar when I was younger to actually get it aligned. So I just lived with it. So we'll get that fixed hopefully in the next episode. And I'm chuffed to bits with the old girl, to be perfectly honest. So thanks for watching. Look after yourselves. Do subscribe and hit the like and share button. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Spot on. Excellent.